Top left-hand side, our purple Zerg player from the Shopify Rebellion, Lambo. And in the bottom right from Team Liquid, Clem. He just took down one Rebellion player, looking to take down the other of the European squadron. Thank you so much, Nilo Angelo, for the Prime for the 10 months. Another month, although I've been watching for years. Well, I appreciate the subs, mate. I appreciate the primes. Flip a Flapjack, 100 bits. Thanks for the games. Thank you so much. Aerobic Throne, 31-month resub on the Prime. What's that I hear? You guys are trying to start a hype train? Okay then, guys. If you're feeling that excited, if you want me to start out that much, you guys go wild. Cool first from Lambo. Kind of intrigued what he plans on a map like Moondance, you know. Moondance is that map which can absolutely be useful. A little bit of roach pressure, a little bit of roach aggression early. Pool first obviously lends itself to that pretty quickly. And Clem is not the kind of player you need to pool first against to deal with, you know, proxy racks, because he very, very rarely proxy raxes. So, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. But he might get aggressive from here, and that's equals to maybe just kind of feign some aggression, maybe get Clem scared, make Clem wonder why you opening pool first against me, and then not actually do much, right? Ceiling's coming around, SUV taking damage, Reaper finishes up, and a Marine on the way. There's a couple of drones building up on the side from Lambo. Hatchery coming on the natural, Queen coming up. Just going to be seeing our command center setting up as well. So far, so good. Factory is coming up as well. And, yeah, just getting our third hatchery down as well, even. So Lambo just going to go full macro mode on the back of this pool first. Not going to be all too crazy in the end as we set on through. The hatch coming down. The Rotron will start up also. Going to be seeing our Rotron in the back and just going to be seeing a couple of extra CCs. So Clem going to go all the way up to 3 command centers for the moment. Bringing all of that up into play again. All of that set. As our factory comes in, our reactor comes in. And the Ripper will be just again back to the upper left hand side, trying to see what it can get up to. Let's see if it can get a little bit aggressive. There's the Rotron again from Lambo. Like I said, this is kind of what I suggested we might see early on. I'd say it's been kind of a interesting way to get there, but he is now going to be able to start building our roaches. So Lambo getting those ready to roll. Some Drunk Canadian, what's up, mate? Thank you so much for the 13-month resub. As we do have our Reaper. And push around. Wants to pick up on these roaches, but he's going to dive into the main. Ooh, Nelly goes down. Clem's not seen the roaches yet. The Hellions go to the left-hand side. Clem. Scout the roaches. Okay, he sees them now. So Clem now gets the information he should need to deal with this. As now aware of that. Well, what's his defense going to be? Immediately, SCV's pulling away. Over on the low ground, just going to be seeing the Hellions moving back up around as well. Just, you know, they're going to defend on the main. We apparently put a Reaper grenade down to try and slow this down. That makes a lot of sense, of course. That is the correct kind of thing to do. As that bunker will be finishing here in a moment or so. Roaches trying to make their way up this ramp. Little grenade going down to pop the roaches back. SCV's pulling to buy some time on the depot. There's not a lot of damage output currently for these roaches. Against these roaches. We're waiting for the Banshee to finish so that we can really have something that pushes this back. The real question mark is how many units does Clem lose in the meantime? The SCVs are going to pull from the natural, main to the natural it seemed like, but then they kind of back away. Now they're going to fight. Again, wants to keep them away as long as possible. Here are the reinforcements. The Banshee showing up here. 5 SCVs lost. Obviously the Hellions are all down. If this only is like 5 SCVs, that would have been kind of incredible. We're going to go up to 6 SCVs now. 7, 8. This really isn't actually that bad, though, for Clem, right? 8 SCVs feels really... I mean, yes, a lot of lost mining time, but 8 SCVs really doesn't feel bad at all. Lambo's obviously just coming out of all of his drones. His tech is extremely limited right now because he's been building the roaches, so it's not like he's onto a lair, a baneling nest, or anything along those lines. What a weird little situation. Like I said, the movement of the SCVs was kind of cool as well, really delaying for as long as possible, and yeah, now we've got just a lone cloakless Banshee is not likely to do a lot, but could still chip down a few drones as well, make a little bit of a difference here and there. Definitely one more thing to just kind of keep our eyes on. As again, inject off on the main. Pretty much immediately in the hatchery on the 4th will go down in a moment or two, so Lambo getting that established on the 12 o'clock. That 4th base coming online. Again, layer double Evo chamber, the drones, the link speed, everything producing from Lambo right now. Trying to get into everything that he needs for the rest of the game. Well, Clem is already on his way to Stim, right? His engineering base is about the same time as the Evos. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, it's like a 14, 15 worker lead for Lambo, but Clem's going to start shortening the distance on that right now with the 3rd CC in position, and I kind of feel as though this kind of evens out, right? Like, maybe slight edge Lambo. I think the worker count right now, obviously, you got to give him a little bit of credit there, but like, he's so far off from having a good army. Like, right now, it's just Roachling, upgrade, start. I mean, the Bane Nest starts, so you got to get main speed. I don't know, guys. I feel like Clem's in a reasonable spot. I think Clem's going to have some good harassment available to him before Lambo is, like I say, really going to be able to deal with it, and this Banshee finds a little corner to snip down a couple drones as well. Expecting the first medevacs shortly. Those will obviously go a long way to helping too, I think. As the Hellions, the Reaper. It's going to gather up on that upper right side. Banshee going to come on by. Run through the upper right. It's hanging around over there as we get set to fight. Queen on the front. Hydrogen still building. 10 more Zerglings in production. Lions go diving by. 2 drones go down already. Make it 3. Looking for more. Why not 4? That's 5. As the Hellions say goodbye. Ravages on the way on the top, and that's going to be interesting little trade, right? I mean, it wasn't a lot of Hellions, and maybe that's why Clem went for it, because he only had a few, and so he doesn't feel like they're that effective at cleaning up creep and patrolling the map and holding map control like Hellions usually would be. So he's like, why not just give them up for a few workers? And to get 5 workers for the Hellions he committed, yeah, I don't actually really hate it. Like, usually I'm a bit sad that you're giving up the map control, but I just don't think there was much map control there to begin with, because you lost so many during the Roach defense. Coming through, getting rid of a good bit of creep initially. I wouldn't mind. Biled but not killed. Second bile never went off. The Lings chase to finish off the job. The Rav just could not. Clem relocates this mine as Lambo dives forward, loses a few Lings to the Marines. I'm just playing slow here in the center. Oh, didn't notice the mine getting biled, so didn't save it this time. Stim to fight that. Oh, the mine on the right goes big. Huge connection. As we unload up on the high ground here, Clem will load back into medevacs, peel away to the right side. Our infestation pit is on the way through. Our groove spines also coming up at the moment, as units of Clem continue up the left. Marines and mines heading to the main base. And when I say main base, I clearly mean 5th base. Excuse me, guys, my throat's not cooperating with me wanting to talk right now. Yeah, hit the 5th base, gets a cancel there. Or, yeah, 5th base, sorry. No, 6th base. It was the 6th base. God damn it. Can't even count. Alright, Marine's going to come up here as well. There's a bit of multi-prong, and going to try and force Lambo to play left, play right. Lambo with money in the bank, which if he spent would probably even the game out supply-wise with Clem. If he can't spend that, that's problematic, as this drop is just going to sit here. It now has access to 3 places. The in-base, the natural, and that left side 9 o'clock base. So when you have options open to all of these, it just forces Lambo to maybe overcommit defense where otherwise just a couple of units would do, because it's not just one place them as medevacs are threatening. Now you might bring them back to the back of this mineral line, which obviously combos it with the rest of this army that's pushing at the front already. Clem is continuing to unburrow and dodge corrosive vials with the mines. Oh god. Lambo just went for it there, and the Widow Mines initially did very well. Afterwards, didn't actually do as much as I thought they would. The first little connection was pretty serious, as we have a drop back here, though, does get a few workers, and again, this is the kind of thing that adds up, and Clem now in the top right, and just forcing Lambo to play everywhere. Clem is so good at this multitasking. He's so good at being all over the place. Yeah, just going to be seeing the Marines continuing through. A couple of changelings will drop down. Marines, Mines, Medivacs all continuing to gather together as we continue to push up to the upper right-hand side. First Widow Mine burrows up, fires. Second mine burrows up as well. Doesn't get to line up a shot just yet as we see our T2 upgrades still in production from Lambo. So he's been fighting down an attack upgrade for a while here. He's going to be playing a little late on his +2 armor, but at least the attack upgrade is a little bit more important, so it's maybe not so bad. The Widow Mine on the top does okay as the Marines on the top right are ready to strike as well. Clem maintaining about a 20 army supply lead at the moment, or 20 supply lead overall, sorry, not army supply. His army supply is massive, obviously he's down about 20 workers, so if he's 20 supply up, and he's down 20 workers, quick math, he's about 40 army supply ahead. So, yeah, he's got a really sizable army. He's continuing to utilize it well on both sides of the map, pushing one way, pushing the other. Drop on the in-base at the same time, by the way, so this is starting to deal some damage as well. I mean, Clem is just all over the shop as Widow Mines connect on a whole chunk of these Banelings as well. 5 drones go down, and, well, you know what? Clem's supply does plummet a little bit here. Lambo and Clem both with money in the bank to spend on rebuilding. Lambo's starting to get some Hydras up, which is nice. Bit more of a backbone to this army than the Ling Bane that's been running around. Overseer gets here before these Widow Mines come off cooldown, so they all get cleaned out bar this one. This one got cleaned up as well. Actually, it's a lot of mines going down very quickly there. Clem losing quite a lot of supply all at once. Push up to the left, the Marauders hit this hatchery. The few Banes and Roaches continue to move forward. The Marines pull back. I wouldn't mind thinking of connecting there, but not quite getting the chance. Again, the continued denial on these mines really adding up as Widow Mines go off. Overseer's taking damage. A bit of Lingbane Hydra on the right side. Going to be coming through and doing well. Just going to be seeing this army of Clem continue to get pushed away down the left. $33 additional Banelings being made, by the way. That's a lot of Banes. There's 3 melee upgrades, Roach speed all being brought out as well. Hydra, Ling, Bane. Moving through the middle of the map as Liberator Siege is over on the right-hand side. We start to pick our way through a chunk of changelings, and, well, Clem is still killing mines as well with Widow Mines. He's consistently aggressive, and that's what's so hard to keep up with. Is I do think Lambo's created a bit of an advantage for himself. It's just so hard to deal with, you know, the Clem aggression still going on during this. Lambo's now going to try and attack. I like this less the further he goes into the base because it becomes more choked up and more one-dimensional, right? Easier for the Terran typically to defend if we try and land some snipes off the Ghosts. The Ghost transition is here in case we start to make bad lurkers. Right now, I don't feel like the Ghosts really stand up for much. Like, a Sniper 2 is nice, but in a fight like that, you'd rather just have more bio with how much the Ghosts cost. But you kind of need some amount of Ghosts in case there's suddenly a switch into most likely lurkers, maybe some random ultra show up, right? In general, just having a few Ghosts eases the transition, and obviously if suddenly there's a ton of lurkers, you're already part way to a ton of Ghosts, right? So 4 or 5 Ghosts doesn't typically hurt, but they still weren't particularly useful in that specific fight, I would say. Yo, Shuggle, buddy, what's up? Thank you so much for the 74-month resub. Cracking on year after year. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing well, Beat. Thanks so much for resubscribing. 9 drones going down. We lose the medevac. Another Widow Mine that will go bang bang. Got a few Zerglings, but not much else. More Ghosts up in production as well. Let's continue to bring those through as a single Liberator flies off over to the far left-hand side. Clem aggressive again, and obviously one thing that Lambo is still reeling from is the control that Clem had earlier, and a lot of the group spread that was denied is still just not really replaced. This is where Ghost can be okay against the Lingbane Hydra, against some preemptive shots off. But I did very well then. There's a couple active ones in the back still, finding a couple more shots, but for the most part this bio army has to keep on running. Just keep on getting away, and Lambo continue to make a stand. 1.5k minerals and gas in the bank for Lambo. If he transitions that into units, he might have another huge push to push Clem back with, but he doesn't have the lava to spend it all. Obviously, if he did, he probably would have spent it by now, so it's probably an obvious statement, but that is the issue. He's lava starved. It's just because so much is going on in this game, right? I mean, you're busy, you're fighting, you're splitting, you're dodging mines, you're dealing with Clem's aggression, you're attacking yourself, you're trying to pick the right fights. With all of this in mind, you're also kind of having to hit your injects, and these are all very good reasons to start missing your injects, right? Because all of a sudden your injects, you know, a couple missed injects just go a long way. As these mines get burrowed, they don't do anything. And that's why Lambo just gets stuck on his money for a bit. I mean, spends it now as the injects popped off. He's able to spend it all, and he's already mining a whole bunch more as well, staying on 90 drones. Big counterattack, Clem instantly repairing the command center, as we do have him also pushing the upper right-hand side. This might be a chance for Clem to do some damage, because he's definitely going to take some damage. The ghosts all in the front just get rolled into by Balins. That is not good. It feels as though Clem is in a bit of trouble here. I mean, he'll kill a base, but base for base right now actually feels kind of okay for Lambo, who's pretty rich. And again, it was also not just a base for a base. There is base for a crap ton of ghosts on the Lambo trade, right? Like, he got a lot of ghosts out of this. 12 drones dead to that. I mean, Clem actually gets a second base, so that's something. Down 20 workers. He's actually starting to stabilize on the tail end of this, because that was obviously a really bad couple of moments, I think, for Clem. He's pulling his CC that was setting up on the right side back into where we just saw the planetary dice. He's going to reestablish that position. It's easier to hold those places. He doesn't want to draw himself out more thinly than needs be. Mining for the base, that easier health for now. Worry about those other bases later, especially when the game might settle down a bit. And he might be allowed to play more of a build-up, sit-back kind of style, right? Uh-oh. Ghosts again getting abducted in. Widow Mines, though, getting some good shots in the front. Will it be enough to slow Lambo down? So far, it seems like no, not at all. Clem running out of splash damage then. He just needs to fight. Turns this around for the moment. And he's going to go pushing Lambo away as we chase down a couple of overlords. Not sure where the Cyclone's from. I feel like that was mismade at some point. Maybe meant to make a Liberator and it was on his factory. I use factory and Starport shared hotkeys for the Cyclone Lib myself, so maybe Clem does too. Maybe he takes after the crates. Yo. Oh, 5 drones. That was actually pretty much as good as it was going to get. There was only 3 more on the top. It's amazing how much Clem gets by just leaving mines behind, right? I feel like when I play TvZ, because when I play TvZ, I'm like, if I leave a mine behind, I'm like, no, I need to bring my mine home. I feel like if I cared less about my Widow Mines, I'd do better in the matchup, you know? It was just like, oh, my mines are burrowed? Why bother unburrowing them, right? Like, once it's burrowed, just pretend it can never unburrow and just leave them behind. I feel like I'd find so much more value. Maybe that's what I've been missing all these years as Lingvein Hydra backs away. Clem continues to struggle. His supply is hurting. And he really can't afford to lose a base with the position he's in, so yeah, this is going to hurt because there's no way he saves this. Kind of derps down the ramp as well, right? That was not really pretty. Widow Mine's doing huge damage across the map still, mind you. 17 drones, he loses 15 SCVs. Lambo is being drawn down to like the limits of his mining as well. Lambo could do with just stopping and rebuilding 20 drones. Like, he's got enough freedom to do it, I think. I think he's got enough kind of power in the game to just stop and build 20 drones. And I think it would go a long way for him just to get back on a very comfortable drone count. I was like, no, the parasitic bomb. It's like, I will take a Hydra down for this. Hey, at least you find some value. I mean, that's the Clem factor, right? Cheeky base kill as well. Why not just show up, kill a base? This mine, unfortunately, is not ideal. It's retargeting multiple times on the extractor. Oh, still gets 2. Nice little spore trick on. So actually, the mine on the low ground didn't get anything. The mine on the high ground got the double kill, I believe. One way around or the other. Spore trick did save 1 drone. The other mine got 2. Doesn't quite get this base. Left the ghost on the low ground again. Keeps rebuilding some of these ghosts, but we've never really seen them have a real kind of high priority snipe target. That may be changing because we do have the seismic spines on the way. So lurkers are going to be something that we open our kind of path to now. that does suddenly become a possibility, right? As Liberator adds some drones, snipes do go down again. When these snipes get to go from afar onto these Hydras, it's super valuable. Clem's basically not mining though, guys. If this orbital gets pushed back, as there's one Widow mine here. Oh, good shot. Is it enough though? There's still Ling Bane running forward, and Clem's going to get flanked actually. Lambo's going to turn this into an attack. Beautiful maneuver. Great play from Lambo. Love what he did there. It's a fantastic catch and just bullying what he's expecting Clem to do. Parasitic bomb on the Medivacs as well, as Clem is taking mega damage. I think this game is done. I think Lambo has game one in the bag right here with this move. That's a really cute move though. Turn the run by into like a full-on surround as well. So yeah, just sick little move from Lambo. Helps to seal the victory. And Clem is going to tap out, giving Lambo the game one win. Great opening map of our semi. We have got ourselves in the top right-hand side, the Red Zerg player from the Shopify Rebellion. It's Lambo. He's up 1. Bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran player from Team Liquid is Clem. Okay, so I just went to push the add button on the 2-minute delay. Apologies. Great first game from Lambo. Very fun, very exciting. Very well handled in general. Just had a few moments where he had some... Yeah, just a few moments where you get kind of... I've completely lost my trail of thought. Sorry, I was talking about ads in chat. What was I about to say? Think, Wardy, think. Yes, there was a few moments where Lambo had some, you know, production issues, like some lava missing. He was floating a bit of money. Outside of that, it really was just a very solid game from him, no? Right? Like, there was not a lot of crazy stuff going on. It was pretty chilled out. It was pretty happy. It was pretty decent. Yeah, pretty sick. Reaper gonna come through the top side, making its way towards the upper right as the drone. Still over in the corner there. Is gonna be able to get the third hatch down without issue. There's that Reaper. Trying to get rid of a Ling or so, gets rid of one, looking for another. Again, Reaper just having a little bit of fun, a little bit of a dance. So far, so good. Just gonna see the SCV on the bottom right-hand side, holding the watchtower for a handful of moments. Queen comes forward, fights the Reaper. Reaper gets pushed back, is going to start evacuating through the top side. And that Ling speed is building up on the side of Lambo as well. It's just bringing that through into position, into play. Get that set and ready to go as our Starport builds on the side of Clem. And he's going to proxy it, man. He's like, man, this worked really well in the TVPs. Maybe it's time to bring it to the TvZ as well. So a little proxied Hellion drop here is going to be the way we try and get some work done at the moment. This Reaper is going to take a shot from the Queen, comes back around the other side. Couple of Queens together will be there to try and push this Reaper back. Our Ling speed about halfway done. Starport completing. 2 more Hellions in production on the side of Clem, and Liberator producing as well. So all of that still coming up full at the moment as we route back around to the top. Reaper and 2 Hellions turned away instantly by the Queen showing up. Queens are here. Reaper and Hellions get pushed away. Now Liberator going to come up the right-hand side, and it's going to be making a play in toward the main base next few moments. Meanwhile, we've got Hellions and the Reaper into the center. 1 Marine. Just going to go pick away at the Overlord. Deal some damage. Pick that off. And meanwhile, we've got Hellions and the Reaper out in the center from Clem as well, making a little bit of a cheeky push forward. See if you can find anything, honestly, so far. Not really. Lambo's defense is being good. He's dealing with the Liberator well, too. Immediate drone pull. Lib relocates. No kills found so far, so... Yep, again, we're just checking all the boxes, guys. All the boxes being checked for now. As this Lib gets sieged. And these couple of queens will try and fight it, but Clem's like, okay. I'll take one, but only the one. 2 drones, a queen. Yeah, I mean... We've seen Liberators that have done more, and we've seen Clem be able to keep Liberators alive for a lot longer than that in the past as well, but I'll say this is still pretty reasonable for the most part. As Hellions come through, Queen's going down, the little grenade gets popped, and the Queen gets pushed over to the side. Hellions and the Reaper back into the center. And just trying to figure out what their plan may be, I suppose, as... Coming around through the top again, a few more barracks building, a couple of engineering bays are building up as well. They're popping out, getting an upgrade started. It's obviously pretty standard. You see Lambo, a lot of overlords, but also a lair into the main nest. His Evo chambers and hence upgrades will be later. So that's one of the advantages Clem can work with here, is there shouldn't be a world you ever have to cancel your 4th base to Hellions, and Clem leaves knowing that there are going to be units coming over soon to deal with that, of course. Is there an overview of which races run the most tournaments? For the weekly cups, there is. If you go to the Liquid P, I can probably find them for you very quickly, actually. There you go. I linked it in the chat a couple minutes ago. That's for, like, obviously the weekly specifically, and you can switch between different regions and stuff if you want to. Maybe the one that AJG put down was even better, actually. I don't even know what that one is. I think MaxPack's just 2-0'd Hero Marine. So MaxPack's in the finals means it's a non-mirrored matchup finals. You know, despite who wins this series, no matter what, right? So either way, it's going to be a non-mirror match finals, as the Hellions escape off one way. Our Bioforce coming through the center. Mines, Marines, and Medivacs make their way forward here. So that Overlord taking some shots, couple Widow Mines going off. Banelings continue to connect. Our Lings come running forward, and our Marines will kind of get caught a little bit here by these Lings. It's doing a pretty reasonable job of that. That's just going to be seeing the Medivacs will unload once again. We're actually going to load up some mines. We saw just how well the mine drops could do last time around for Clem, so he's going to try and utilize these. Begin dropping elsewhere while obviously pushing other places. He's got the Hellions back at home morphed into Hellbats as well, by the way, so already on kind of the counter-attack defense, basically, as 2 Medivacs come in, evacuate the Marines out of here. I'm just already kind of dancing around. The Widow Mine drop topside, though, is actually caught by some Hydras, taking some damage. Spent a moment or two without actually pulling that away, so that was a little messy as we come up here. Target fire down some Banelings. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you very much. Very nicely done. Great trades from Clem when you're just target firing down Banelings like this, right? You're finding so much value, getting so much done. Widow Mine shot lands on the Zergling's huge connection. Oh no, full Medivac dies though. That's a little bit of a shame. Full Medivac going down is just going to be seeing the Marines on the top side, going to run straight on forward. Overlord already running back. This Hatcher on the top, 12 o'clock, is taking some damage. Our Lings run in, our Marines will lift and leave. Escaping for the moment. Widow Mines press through, the Marines come forward. Couple Queens, 2, 3 Queens going down immediately. The creep spread continuing to get picked off here and just cleaning out so much of it. Another Widow Mine burrows and the Banelings trying to come through. Widow Mine is trying to aim a shot or so forward. Another Widow Mine off to the side. Banelings come down from that high ground, Alpha down to the low ground, Reaper escapes away. What a nice shot. Kaboom! That's a massive shot. Masses of Ling Bane just went down. Jesus. That was a great Widow Mine. Again, Widow Mines have been great for Clem in that last game too, and it's starting to be a little bit of the same story again now. Of course, that said, Lambo is holding on, and he's looking to force a later game, and if we've got to be honest, I think it was fair to say that Clem looked a little sloppy at points in the last game too. We talked about how great Lambo played, but there's multiple times Clem really kind of fumbled over lifting units up, retreating away, evacuating out of, you know, some more dangerous positions. There was definitely moments where Clem could have done. It's one of those things where it's like, we just know Clem can do better, so it's kind of like, you know, it's got to be said. And I only say it now because it's getting to that sort of point in the game again where Clem's looking good so far, but he did make mistakes in the last game, which was somewhat similar to this. Obviously, this time there are lurkers up. I wonder if that favors Clem a little bit extra here, because obviously now it almost feels like his ghosts are going to have more of a use. In the last game, it almost felt like they didn't really have enough of a use, and that was almost part of his issue, as that's a big upgrade pickoff if he gets rid of the spawning pool. Adrenal glands is not one you want to be losing out on, especially when it's so far along. Spawning pool in general is going to stop your Ling production for a little while. The only issue for Clem, I'd say right now, is that lurkers are out and he doesn't have ghosts yet. He just started the Ghost Academy, but he's apparently going to take this fight over here, fighting into the lurkers, forces a cancel on a couple of them, morphing in. He's going to kill every single one. Does he have the Marines to get the base after as well? Widowmine goes off on the Overseer. The Lings are dying as they advance forward. There's no DPS. Apparently Clem just stands strong. What a ridiculous fight for Clem to take. Widowmine's into that mineral line here as well. Lambo's being stretched way too thinly. His attention is all over the shop, and Clem is just breaking through. Who needs ghosts against lurkers? Just stim and split, yo. That's Clem's new strategy. Obviously, more lurkers, higher numbers, and maybe that doesn't... Obviously, that doesn't happen, right? But in this case, pretty sick little moment, and Clem's keeping up the pressure. Hasn't quite gotten rid of this base top side just yet. Would love to do so. It's low on HP, somewhat easily targetable. Let's see where his reinforcements swing to, as Lambo for the moment is stabilizing a little. Remember, he's been without Ling production for a while, too. That is now coming back online. Lambo could also do with +3 carapace and just a second attack upgrade. Right now, missiles and melee set at +1. No upgrades on the way. Yeah, get back to your upgrades, right? I know you're kind of... He's poor right now, though. He has no money at all. The gas bank is completely drained. Just want to run forward there. Lurkers trying to split up just a little. As we got some snipes going off. Obviously, first time we're seeing snipes in this game, right? First time the ghosts are really taken to the stage, so already getting a few of those shots going. Obviously, because Clem's had so much of this control, the creep spread is very limited as well, so there's not a lot of creep available for Lambo to really defend positions with. That means Clem can get on top of bases and near those lurkers very easily. As he chases forward here, he's hunting down this group of lurkers that have 0 support. Uh-oh, they didn't even burrow. That's goodbye. That was a very quick set of pew-pew-pews from the ghosts as they eliminate and annihilate about, you know, scheduled 10-15 supply of lurkers in a matter of milliseconds. That Widowmine shot, actually friendly fire, and oh my god, Widowmines, you're on the Terran side! Calm down a little bit, please. Get off our bio, hello? Can you not? Ghost gonna come through, getting a lot more lurkers again. So painful for Lambo. Lurker after lurker just continuing to drop here at the moment. Nidus Network is building, by the way. The Nidus Network online gonna be giving Lambo at least a little bit more of a counterattack opportunity. So far, obviously, it really has been Clem on Lambo's side of the map for the last 5 minutes or so. Yeah, and the one time Lambo made an attack, the 5 lurkers got annihilated, right? So the Nida is something to really pull Clem back, really punish Clem if he puts too much attention on one side of the map and doesn't defend at home. That's the sort of thing that that Lambo could really do with right now, and could be the one thing that really puts Clem in a weird spot. That's not good. These ghosts are just having a field day on these lurkers. The reinforcements are just not here at all. Like, all of these Lings and supporting units for the lurkers just non-exist, and they finally showed up from the wrong side. Again, just a very awkward fight for Lambo, whose lurkers are off trying to do fancy things, but are kind of getting punished in very just kind of unexpected ways, I suppose. Obviously, it gets taken down. Things run forward, a couple more orders. And picked off. Widow Mines firing up. Whole squad up here. Remember, this base was low from earlier. This is where we saw that epic fight with the lurkers. It's going to go straight onto it. Just going to get rid of it immediately. So hatchery will go down. It's just a base you can't afford to lose as Lambo. That's your 5th base at the moment. As Clem realizes that he might not quite get this Nidus in time, so he put some Widow Mines around it. Lurkers are going to hit at the same time. And Nidus, yeah, nothing came out of it. Ghost's going to go and try and deny the other one now as well. So just ping-ponging one way, then the other. Lurkers, I mean, this is nice, though, because Lambo definitely had to do something to kind of distract and disrupt Clem. And he is doing that now. It's really nice that he's doing that now. Our Lings and our Banes continue to get set here as they come through the center. Right, siege is up. Fire Force coming through the middle. Just going to be seeing a bit more Ling Bane making their way back over on the other side. And, well, the one thing Lambo hasn't really... It was nice to distract Clem, but he didn't really do much damage. Clem's economy is still fantastic. The bases are still standing. It really was a distraction and not much else. This bottom right base may go down, but Clem is building CCs elsewhere. This is one which Clem is probably most able to lose, as it's also just not dying. No Adrenal Glands. Lambo started up Adrenal +3 recently. That Palandry is actually going to survive? Oh my god. This Palandry just killed, like, well, it has 49 kills, put it that way. That is ridiculous, and this hatchery is currently the 5th of Lambo, so if you can't mine from that, that's brutal. Clem didn't commit onto it, though. He's actually pulling back, maybe afraid of this set of units. Widow Mines Burrow up as they will try and go for the Ling Bane. Snipes going down everywhere, just targeting Vipers. Parasite Bombs coming off. Immediate splits from Clem on the Medivacs. Unfortunately, pulls one back into the other Medivacs and causes some kills to happen. Some friendly fire. Clem ties it 1-1 in this series. A beautiful 3. Did you remember that? Bottom left side. Our purple Zerg player opened up this series with a victory. Can he find another to close it out and make the finals? It is Lambo, Shopify Rebellion. Top right side, our command center is going to be belonging to Clem from Team Liquid. Oh, great. The command center. Everyone's like, Wardy? Okay, there's a command center. Question mark? What's your point? Yes, guys, there's a command center. Would you believe it? Would you believe it? Lambo drops the pool early again. Last time around, he did eventually play some kind of roach style with this. There's the hatchery going down, the gas behind it. We'll see again if there is any kind of aggressive intentions from Lambo. Like I say, in the first game, if you guys just been tuning in, didn't quite catch the first map, the situation was that Lambo kind of opened with a pool first, then went to 3 hatches pretty quickly, like he took a 223rd, and then he dropped the roach roar in around 3 minutes, and then he went for a big roach attack, and that isn't necessarily why he won. I wouldn't say the roaches put him so far ahead or anything, right? Like, oh, anything like that. But it definitely, it obviously, like, it helped, and it was obviously how he set up. I do think Clem got back into the game enough, though. That was pretty reasonable. Two things going to go after the SCV. Some damage to be dealt on that one for a while. And obviously Clem realizing it's a pool first, so maybe a little bit more cautious in general. Reaper into his reactor. We will see what else he gets done here over the next little while. That SCV is trying to escape as the one Ling is going to hunt it down, but he's going to get flanked. The SCV on the top side. The Ling, he shoots, he nibbles, he scores. Gotta have a little nibble before you between shooting and scoring, guys. You know. Drones down to the natural third hatchery coming online. Hellions on the way, and a starport building as well. You have our link speed begin to build. Doesn't look like we're going to get any roaches this time around from Lambo. Not going to have a repeat back of game number 1 or so. It's a little bit of a different approach this time. This is going to be seeing the Reaper making its way down to the south as the Queen gets here. They're taking some shots. Hellions going to be passing by. Just going to be seeing a few drones starting to get picked away at. So 1, 2 drones getting picked away at pretty much immediately. Two drones though for what? A Reaper and a Hellion? Not exactly the best, right? I mean, you're not coming out of this as Clem and being like, hell yeah, that was it, that was the play. I mean, obviously it's not like the end of the world, it's not like all of his map control is gone or anything, but it's definitely not as, you know, he could have wanted more, I think. I think it would have been unreasonable for him to be expecting to get a little extra out of that, in all fairness. Let's make their way up to the side with the first Banshee coming through. The Overlord gets a perfect scout of the main. Then we'll start stim after the Overlord goes down. Banshee's going to commit for now, it seems. Looks like we're going to stick to getting the Cloak. Obviously, Cloak can still be very useful. Even if scouted, Banshee's in the hands of someone as good as Clem can naturally be extremely good. And even if they are scouted, even if you prepare for them, Clem can be very good at finding those openings and those corners, which can obviously just change absolutely everything. Yo, JT Perro, thank you so much for the 30-month resub. How you doing? Thank you. No, thank you for subscribing for so long. Much appreciated. As our Banshee sneaks down at the bottom side. A couple of Queens going to get there. This Banshee's going to get turned back around for the moment. Back through to the bottom right corner. There's eventually going to be a Roach run from Lambo. Now double Evo and plus under lair. Are we potentially lining up some kind of 1-1 Roach time here on Inside and Out? It could well be. Tracks left off, going to move over to the reactor. Hellions in the center will troll and hold a little bit of position. +1/+1 missiles do start from Lambo, so we kind of knew there was going to be some amount of investment into that. More important than ever, then, I guess, that these Banshees do stay alive more than anything, right? But obviously, if you stay alive, then you are able to use them against the Roaches when they attack. So killing drones is nice, but even better is obviously the extra damage output against a big Roach timing. So yeah, Clem recognizes that. That may become one of his main priorities. He's going to come get these Queens with these Banshees. He's not messing around. And Lambo realized pretty quickly what was going on. He turned around pretty quick to kind of get off the creep once he killed that first Hellion, or get onto the creep once he killed that first Hellion, but wasn't soon enough. And one Queen goes down. And Clem's going to pull the Banshees back for the moment. Lambo's going past 70 drones, so it's not quite going to be that 3-base kind of Roach Ravager time. Although he doesn't have a 4th, just 72 drones. Is oversaturation on 3 bases, so you would kind of expect a 4th here. I wonder if Lambo added a round of drones a little bit by mistake, actually. Because there's just not really much reason to hit 72 drones. Like, a couple extra drones per mineral line do usually provide a little bit more mining, but you don't usually do that when you are playing Roaches. You usually just hit the 66 drone mark, because, you know, switching into Roaches from there is pretty much just more effective. Having the 3 or 4 extra Roaches is better than what the few extra drones make up for eventually. As Clem sees the Roaches, Drop Lord starts, and Clem's going to start boosting back home. Immediately his mind switches to defense time. There's obviously the Overlord's coming, so it looks like we're going to bring the Queens. There will be an answer to the Banshees. The Banshees will not just be a sit in the sky and rule everything kind of situation. Clem does have his own 1-1, but what was he doing tank count-wise? None. He built Widow Mines initially, so he initially skipped a tank, but he's now gone into a tank, so skipping the tank initially, bit dangerous, bit risky from Clem, bit greedy. Something he could end up being punished for, as Widow Mines initially will split. Banshees will come and spot and start to deal some damage. The Queens will be popping out of this Overlord as a response. Obviously, they can push the Banshees back, and that's exactly the point of bringing the Queens to an attack like this one. Clem wants to get the Overlord that's dropping the Banshees, dropping the Queens out, sorry. And now the Banshee's going to sit back. Oh, they walked into a bile. Actually, it wasn't so bad. It hit the Banshee that was higher HP and doesn't go close to going down. Clem with a nice little move, though, trying to hit that Overlord. That Dropper Lord was nice. These Widow Mines are going to be pretty good as well. Hit a lot of the Roaches. Good splash damage done. Anything helps right now as the first Siege Tank gets in position. We do not see Lambo able to get in reach of that. The Queen's not quite here just yet out of the Overlord to get the Banshees. The Banshees go running, so again, slow, cautious play by Clem, although he brought them back in a bit too soon. Chasing down the Roach Ravager now. Clem did a good job buying time. Kind of surprised he's not pulling SCVs into this. Usually you pull the SCVs because the extra tanking they provide goes a long way to your success in this defense. He's actually pulling the SCVs away. Very interested that he's, like I say, pulling the SCVs in to kind of tank for the bio is usually just a go-to. It's just a given in these situations. So, like I say, a little bit surprising perhaps for Clem. Maybe he really did not need it, and he was very aware of the fact as he just keeps pushing on through, and the army of Lambo is disappearing. The Bioforce has done plenty here, and it has absolutely seemingly done enough. Good job, very well done by Clem. Great defense. Puts himself into winning position. Bit more bio along this left-hand side. It's going to come through. See where it can get to, see what it will achieve as the Roaches and the Lings come around here. Obviously, the bio in the center of the map is looking terrifying right now. There is just so much of it. And that bio force is set up in the center. Yeah, I think Clem feeling pretty good right now. He lost some SCVs, yes. Lambo's only just started up 2-2. Clem knows that Lambo is kind of stuck on Roach Ravager, though, and the longer this game goes, the better it is for Clem if Lambo is just stuck on Roach Ravager. So, yeah, Clem's fighting, but he's never, like, stimming straight in and spreading out to take the massive, like, full-on committed fight. He's just dancing with the Roaches, and he's just pulling back, he's buying some time. He's going to get back and heal now and just join it with everything else. He's just finding good value trades so far. It makes a lot of sense. As the few Ravagers morph in, Roaches and Ravagers will come back up this ramp. The Corrosive Bowels going down again, just going to turn around once more. Be split away, the Corrosive Bowels miss as the bio units dodge side to side. The Medivacs landing, and again, just so much bio with equal upgrades. Clem has seemingly plenty to win this series out with. It's just going to be seeing the Zerg just has no damage anymore, right? Like, again, pure Roach Ravager just hits a brick wall in terms of effectiveness, and that brick wall has been hit a couple of times now, and you're just seeing it just not do enough. As Clem, the only thing I say is he's very heavily stimmed here, so maybe there's a little bit of danger in him being overstimmed. Maybe that gives Lambo a little bit more of an opportunity, but I think that's really about it. Clem's going to finish up his 2-2 upgrades just about the same time Lambo is, so staying equal on the upgrades is obviously great as well for the Terran player. But it's just fine. Like, don't let the Zerg get a little advantage there, that little something that might help you surge ahead in terms of the trade. Roach Ravager forced to set up down the low ground, and Lings on the top, looking for a few SCVs, not going to get him. Marine Marauder going to get a few Lings. Here we go, third base. In a little bit of trouble. Siege Tanks going to get blasted straight away. Not a good fight for Clem. Bad position, honestly. This is one of those fights where, again, I would just say pull the SCVs in just to make sure, but just because they were basically dying anyway. It started off kind of scary, but the last few tanks just obviously were never dealt with, and so they just deal damage throughout the entirety of the fight. It still wasn't pretty for Clem, though. It was definitely still a little scary, and you could argue the SCV damage was essential for Lambo, who is only on 68 drones of his own. By killing these, he's put himself back into an 8-worker lead. More Roach Ravager, a few more Lings coming out. The Medivac will come down at the right-hand side. Things down the bottom, just going to go after the drones. 6 workers getting killed pretty much immediately then, so nice little catch. Just going to get this Spore Crawler being picked away at as well, so working our way through that very quickly and easily. Medevac lifts off, escapes away over to the side, and these few Lings showing up again. Looking to wrap around those Marines. Looking to do as much as possible as we get our bio. Coming forward and picking off the Queen as well. The Lings, the Roaches, the Ravagers continue forward. Corrosive Vials continuing to scatter amongst these Medevacs. There's a lot of army supply for Lambo here, and I wonder if Clem's just been a little bit too overeager in some of these move forwards. A little drop here as well coming in from the other side. Doesn't look ideal. Clem has no tanks here. Really not a single tank. Pure bio, orbital command is burning. He's repairing it. Corrosive Vials, not quite going to kill it. At least the Vials aren't all on the bio then, so gives Clem a chance to fight back up. I kind of thought this one was done, guys, but Lambo is not letting it go at all. Clem loses 15 SCVs again. Now remember, he's got the top base now also, the 12 o'clock, so he's got that as a base to replace. So he doesn't maybe essentially need this base to stay in location straight away. So it's fine to kind of lift it up. He will be able to rebuild these SCVs. It's just the fact there was no tank at all to fall back to that was rough. And Clem is going to eventually end up with 3-3 as well, which should help a lot too. Clem's getting picked away at our Corrosive Vials. Try to land. They will not. The Medevacs dodge away. We'll see. There has been some pretty good Vials though in these games. And I feel like it's moments like this where Clem is maybe getting into spots of trouble because he's stimming forward. He's stimming multiple times. And then the Ravagers use the creep to kind of get us around and to do pretty well. There's only a single tank here, don't get me wrong. We're kind of onto the Ravagers. And Ravagers in general are obviously a little bit flimsier than the accompanying Roaches. So if it's just the Ravagers here, you'd expect Clem to win this fight. Well, tank gets nuked down, and Clem is once again retreating. All these Medevacs, so much army supply in Medevacs that are currently low on energy and also very low on HP. A bile or two away from killing a lot of these. Clem could do with a repair on the Medevac front as, yeah, I mean, it's dangerous games he's playing. It's like 20, 30 supply almost that's just flying around. A Corrosive Vial away from, well, maybe not all of them are Corrosive Vial away from dying, but a lot of them are. Clem has shut down the Ravager count big time though, so Ravagers are not going to be as much of a factor here as Lambo runs low on that account. And my goodness, this game continues through. 140 to 110 supply in the game. Lambo maintaining the lead, 10 workers up. Clem now has 3-3 upgrades. His bio has never been as effective in terms of upgrades against the Zerg. It's always been matched upgrades. Now it's finally an upgrade lead. 2 tanks on the map would, in theory, provide you a little bit of stability needed as now Ravagers Corrosive Vial away at the orbital command. Roach Ravager continues through. Corrosive Vials going after the Medevac. Siege tanks being chipped away at. Roaches still pushing forward. Now bio continuing to stem on out of here as another siege tank goes down. Roaches and Ravagers pushing forward as well. Here going to go for a little bit of a Corrosive Vial action onto the siege tank there. We've got the few Zerglings making their way forward as well, and just having SCVs dead. Clem's actually in trouble, guys. I mean, just as it felt like he was maybe getting to the most stable point he's been in for a long time, he actually doesn't really have enough at all. Corrosive Vials on the high ground. The main base is in trouble. Clem is not going to have the numbers he needs. Clem is going to lose this game. Overly aggressive, I think, chasing down Roach Ravager when Lambo's doing nothing but making units. If Clem just sits back and defends, but don't get me wrong, maybe a drop to check that Lambo is not teching up or switching composition or whatever, but he's chasing these units and armies down into the middle of the map repeatedly, and Clem, it's all going to fall apart here. Lambo going to make it all the way to the finals of the ESL Open Cup Europe. They're going to kill a Ravager on the low ground here. A couple more Corrosive Vials coming through. Medevac splitting apart. Another Bile coming in, and Clem just not leaving until the last shot is fired. Lambo is going to go all the way to the finals on the upset. Wow. And the game I thought was absolutely over as well. GG's Lambo 2-1 over Clem. Clem just really ran into, like, there was so many times he was like stimming after Ravagers to the point where like he had just a clump of dead bio essentially